And welcome back to Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It is Robbie, joined by Snail. It is the afternoon, evening-ish of the 28th of October, a Monday night, and the Penguins are back home in Pittsburgh coming off what can only be described as an absolutely disastrous Western Canada road trip. We are not going to try to sugarcoat anything here because there's not much sugarcoating to do. An absolutely dreadful 0-3-1 road trip that was capped by a completely disastrous back-to-back between Edmonton and Vancouver. And Snell, I said it, no sugarcoating, just the outside of the point against Calgary, the absolute worst case scenario for the Penguins in this road trip.
Yeah, this is exactly. I think we talked about before they left for this road trip. I think I had said something like they even just like a point would be nice, like couple points maybe, 1 point and 1 point. Whether you end up with it doesn't matter. They got 1 point out of a Western road trip. Dude, Edmonton is off to a slow start. Vancouver's a cup contender. They looked good. Winnipeg is. Are they still undefeated?
As of right now, I believe they are. I had to pull up
And
their
Calgary's on an absolute heater. So they kind of just ran in. Look, part of it is they ran into a buzzsaw out west. That's not an easy road trip. But, you know, it's not like what's to blame this time? It's like Tristan Jarry he left midway through the road trip. He wasn't even wearing a baseball cap. Uh,
Well, goaltending, I don't think goaltending was a problem.
oh my God, dude. Can we get into the fact that, uh, was it, Yoel Blomqvist posted like a 920 save percentage against the Edmonton Oilers getting despite it being 4-0, like the 4-0.
That's probably and yeah, just Winnipeg is still undefeated. They're 8-0.
Okay.
But yes, what game was that? Was the Edmonton game, right? I have so many
Yeah.
different box scores open
He
right now.
posted a
Yeah,
920
he
save
was
percentage.
he gave up 4 goals and he was the third star of the game.
He gave up 4 goals on 50 shots.
Yeah, and this was incredibly like at the end of the first period, it was like 27 shots to like 8 or something for the Penguins,
He
and
played a full game by the shot standard after the first
the
period.
Penguins had 27 shots total. I mean, just an absolutely I can't. ESPN doesn't have like the shot by shot breakdown that I can find, but yeah, he faced 50 shots, gave up 4 goals, and still posted a 920 save percentage. His probably his best performance as a starter, and he quote unquote got lit up. The Penguins have not beaten the Edmonton Oilers since 2017. They are like 0-9 in that stretch, and they've been outscored like it's. I have to try to find that number as well. It's something absolutely stupid how badly they've been outscored. Uh, I'm pretty sure I was in attendance the last time they beat and that was like the young McDavid years. Like it was very just it's so bad. This is just not a good hockey team.
Robbie,
Offensively,
is the
good.
defense the new power play this year?
The
Like,
defense
just like
is
the constant, like, what's like ailing this team. Last year the power play for the whole season was the issue, and this year is it going to be the defense? Robbie, they have 6 defensemen on this team. 3 try to play defense, and one of them is only mildly capable of it.
um, it's bad. I'd say it's as bad as I can remember it, and I'm talking
There were some dark years.
dark years. There were some dark years, and this just again, those dark years, the defensemen were just straight up not good. Like they were bad.
Who was their
players.
best defenseman in like the
Probably
height
Jake
of?
Armstrong.
Okay, well then, Jesus. I mean, you have Chris Letang and Eric Carlson are still on
That's
this
what I mean.
team.
Chris Letang, Marcus Pedersen, Eric Carlson. These are not bad players.
Dude, Jack St. Ivany is a good defenseman. Like, I'm telling you right now, that guy's a good defenseman, and I feel for him because he's the only one out there actually playing any defense. Eric Carlson has been on the ice for like an insane amount of goals. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but dude, there are some good defensemen on this team, and
Okay,
they're
so
still getting lit up.
since the 2021-22 season, I over exaggerated how long it's been. They've been outscored by the Oilers 37-9
Dude,
in
that's
7 games.
crazy.
They're giving up over 5 goals a game against Edmonton. Again, Edmonton's obviously an offensive powerhouse,
They
but
are.
no other team has. And this is a team they play twice a year.
Yeah.
Like, man. But the Edmonton
Edmonton does
game,
have like a historically good power play, like the best power play in NHL history last year, I believe. So, or
the
maybe
the,
2 years ago.
the funny thing was, they actually, well, not they, Joel Blomqvist kept this game scoreless for over 33 minutes.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing I was tripping on is that I was having like these like fantasies of what if the Penguins score one and Blomqvist blanks them and he has like a 50 save shutout.
And
I
it
was like
kinda,
having fantasies of that.
I think you were probably not the only one. There are probably Edmonton fans thinking this is going to be one of them nights. A rookie goaltender comes in here. They have not had a great start to the season, and they post like 50 shots and some stupid pinball goal that goes off somebody's like butt ends up behind Stuart Skinner, and it happens with like 5 minutes left in the game.
Exactly.
Just the
That's what I was
dumbest goal.
thinking. I was thinking that might happen at the 30-minute mark. You know what I mean?
Just do you remember the goal he gave up in the playoffs a few years ago? He tried to clear the puck and his stick snapped, and it went right to a Kings player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. Like the dumbest possible goal the Penguins could score, and they just can't. They just can't beat Blomqvist. Like
Robbie, if that happened, would we have a different tone about the road trip?
I mean, from a vibes perspective, absolutely. Like anything they could have done to get to, I would have felt better if they just would have straight up beat Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got
like,
one against a good team.
Yeah, if they would have beaten Calgary, then I would have said it's okay. It wasn't a great road trip, but it was not a complete disaster. That one point in a game they should have won multiple times. Yeah, it just again the games on the weekend were going to be tough, but the Edmonton game they were completely overmatched. It was like playing a minor league team. They were just completely overmatched. There was no even about that game. The game against Vancouver, maybe the worst stretch of play you could have possibly drawn up for any hockey team ever. 2-0, they're up. Beauvillier, Russ score, and then in a matter of 5 minutes of hockey, they're down 4-2.
Dude, that game ruined my night.
In a matter of a minute and 5, they were down 3-2. And then they actually held them off the score sheet for about 5 minutes or 4 minutes. And then, but after Russ scored to make 2-0, Pedersen, Sherwood, JT Miller within a minute and 5 seconds. It's 3-2. And
then Arshdeep Baines gets his first NHL goal. If you're in a slump right now, or if you're an NHL player like that Kirkland fellow in Calgary, or if you're Arshdeep Baines in Vancouver, if you haven't scored your first goal yet in the NHL, just wait till you play the Penguins because you're going to get prime time opportunity. Kiefer Sherwood has been one of those fringe NHL bottom 6 players for like 6 years, I feel like 5-6 years. And he had a beautiful one-timer goal against the Penguins in that, minute and 5-second 3-goal rally by the Canucks. Like, dude, that game was really what these late games, Robbie. I don't usually drink like when I watch Penguins games because it's a little too early for me when they're at 4. I poured myself a nice little glass of whiskey and had an ice cold Coors Light, and I was gonna watch this game thinking, dude, this is gonna be a great game. The Vancouver Canucks, Sully, a little bit of a rivalry there. The Penguins are gonna come out guns a-blazing because of that game in Edmonton. Couple sips in, the Penguins get lit up in a matter of a minute, and it just ruined my buzz. I hate that game. Pissed me off so bad, Robbie.
It was bad. The Vancouver game, everything going well, a great uniform matchup, beautiful game to watch, and just dreadful hockey in that stretch. And it just like they were in control, and then they just forgot how to play hockey.
Dude, was that the game? Can we talk about that offsides? Was that against Edmonton or was that against?
Yeah, I believe it was Edmonton.
Dude, So okay, yeah,
Yeah,
we
just
can talk
I
about that in
mean,
a sec. But the
yeah,
Vancouver game, yeah, just there's a lot to get up for Penn's Vancouver matchup with the way that the Vancouver Canucks are playing right now and with their roster. And I thought they were a team that maybe the Penguins could take advantage of if they got it together. But dude, is it? Do you think it's a confidence thing right now with them? Because
the
one
Penguins.
one one puck goes in the net and they fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being a confidence. It's one of those like, oh well, here we go again. Um, it just, yeah, I don't know if it's a confidence. Like the goaltenders, the defense just falls apart, and the goalies have no chance. I mean, 50 shots against Edmonton was just. I mean, you have to play a bad defensive hockey game to go up 50 shots. They
There's
gave
no
up.
defense. That's a shinny hockey game in northern Alberta on a winter's day.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up 34 the next night against Vancouver. They gave up 84 shots in 2 hockey games. Like, you're not going to win hockey games that way. It's just not going to happen. Um, but that stretch of play, like, okay, you go up 2-0 and Vancouver chips away. There was no time to chip away. It was just a constant barrage of goals. And it's 4-2, and the Penguins don't have, even 5 years ago, if they were down 4-2, I'd say, okay, you know what? Get one, you get momentum back, and you can turn it around. If the Penguins go down like they did, they went down 3-2, and I had no faith that they were going to be able to score a third goal.
No, there's no faith. There's no faith that they can come back. And they'll find a way to, uh, they will find a way. They will find ways to lose these games.
I have no faith they can come back, and I have no faith they can hold a lead.
Is that it's
That's
coaching,
not
right?
good.
That's got to be
Dude,
systems. That has to be coaching because Robbie, I'm telling you, these players, this back end, yeah, it's not built. It's built to provide a good amount of offense and keep the puck in offensive zones, but it's not like they're incapable of defending. Like this team is a better team with Chris Letang on the ice. It should be. You know, he's kind of like a poor man's Doughty. Erik Karlsson, he should be playing right wing. I don't think he's not a defenseman on this team anymore. He should be
I
playing
mean,
second line right wing.
the defense is maybe the most, I don't want to say frustrating, just completely unprepared unit I think I've seen the Penguins put on the ice in 20 years. Again, the Penguins defense when they won the cup in 2017 had worse names than this defense does, and that unit played out of its mind for 2 months.
Dude, I know that. I was thinking about that during
Justin
that
Schultz was your best defenseman.
offensive
I mean,
defenseman. Yeah, he was.
yeah, you had Ron Hainsey, you had Ole Mata, Justin
Daly.
Schultz, Trevor Daly.
Trevor Daly was actually he was underrated good.
Yeah, I
good
can't even
player.
remember all the names that were on that defense.
Straight.
But yeah, he wasn't even playing all the time, and he was one of the guys. Man,
Do you remember when
bad.
Dan Bylsma put Derek England at right wing every once in a while?
Yeah, Derek Englund had like a moment in Pittsburgh before getting absolute bank from Calgary, I believe, paid him an absurd amount of money.
Calgary.
Derek Englund was a fun one. Penguins went through some defensemen that like were not, I'd say, good hockey players, but they showed more heart than any of these guys are right now.
Dude, Paul Martin.
Paul was such an enigma in Pittsburgh. I think people overestimated how he was going to play.
I liked him. He was also epic in Chell. Like for some reason, he was like an unreal player in those Chell games.
I think everybody expected him to be like this huge offensive force, and that was like he was a good offensive player, but like he was never going to be like an elite offensive player. Now, I had higher hopes for Zbynek McCulloch. I really thought he was going to be like the next shutdown guy, and it just like Rob Scuderi and just never developed. Paul Martin really endeared himself to me, and I think the rest of the fan base by the time that he went away. It was time good thing they didn't give him like a big extension or anything.
Yeah,
but very much endeared
San Jose did that to him.
Yeah, he was in the Cup final when they lost to the Penguins. I mean, he was there, and now he sells weed recreationally in like Minnesota. like that.
That's awesome.
Uh, no, chill, dude. Like
Goligoski was a good one.
Goligoski was solid. Niskanen, I always like Matt Niskanen.
Niski, yeah.
Too bad that he went to the Capitals. Always like Matt Niskanen. But like all these guys have shown better heart than what you're seeing out of 4 or 5 of the defensemen.
Dude,
Matt Grzelcyk, I think, is trying. He's just not very good.
Matt Grzelcyk is good in certain situations, but like I remember when they picked him up, I was just thinking about how in Boston he had like one of the most epic plus minus ratings. Like he was like a plus 20 something on the ice. He didn't play a game in the playoffs for them. Like he did not start in the playoffs for him. He's a little bit undersized. He's just not very fast. And if you're a defenseman who's undersized and not that fast and you're offensive minded, that could be a nightmare. So I don't know. Matt Grzelcyk, I like him. But paired with Letang, I mean, I don't know. You might have you might have a better chance at defending with like Garrett Bahana on the back end.
Throwing shots at Garrett here, yeah. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad.
I'm glad that we got to vent about that road trip because I haven't gotten to talk to anyone about that.
Yeah.
Except, also, the one thing that was such a classic Penguins ending to that game was Sidney Crosby colliding with somebody and then Geno Malkin picking that puck up and sick little forehand backhand. And then he crashes into the crossbar and looks like he separates his shoulder. He's writhing in pain on the ground, screaming, and all his teammates are just circled around him, staring down at him, screaming. I was like, this is exactly how this game should end. An injury to our best player, the only guy that seems to be showing a ton of effort out there.
Yeah.
Dude, Sid does not look like himself. Even
Crosby
right now.
does not look good. Yeah, Crosby does not look good right now. I'm not sure what the issue is, but he definitely looks... Something doesn't look right. I don't know.
He's coughing the puck up, and he looks like he's slouching and frustrated. Gino's the only guy out there that I feel like is actually given 110%. In the past, he talk about slouching or kind of pity partying on the ice. Malkin has been guilty of that for so long, but I think he wants to win the Art Ross this year or something because he's got a burr in his saddle.
It's very like he's very. Very motivated right now. I don't know.
He looks determined.
What all of a sudden gave him that giddy up? But
bonus. Maybe there's a bonus in a contract.
Maybe there is a bonus in that contract. I don't know. But he definitely has a little bit more juice this year. I mean, he had a 3-point game. Like he had another 3-point game out of nowhere. Like it felt like maybe he was kind of evening out a little bit, and then he has another 3-point game, brings them back into it, gives you a little hope late. A very bizarre play. Just guys colliding everywhere, and he just all of a sudden has the puck in alone on Lankinen, buries it, nearly kills himself in the process. It would have been very fitting that he scores a beautiful goal like that and then is out for like 3 months because
separated shoulder.
He went
collarbone.
He broke his collarbone or separated his shoulder going into the goal, playing his ass off. But yeah, just again, it just feels like there's nothing. Like it just feels, there's nothing. There's nothing. Even Crosby's 2 line mates scored a goal and he didn't get an assist. It just
Malkin somehow assisted on them.
Yeah, Malkin assisted on Beauvillier's goal and Russ' goal, and then he scored his own goal. So,
to that point, obviously we're not just this isn't some sort of Malkin biased here because right now, as far as the lines today in practice. Malkin is on the first line with Crosby and Raquel. Rust injured in the Vancouver game, not on the ice for practice. They have Puljujarvi, Hayes, and Beauvillier as the second line, which I like. I think Hayes should be playing further up in the lineup. I thought he's earned that. He's been working his tail off on the fourth line, and he's got a few goals this year. I think he deserves a shot up in the top 6. Why not? As a winger or a centerman. I'd like to see him on the wing maybe, but that's just me. Third line is Achari at center with Drew O'Connor and Lars Eller on the wing. And then the fourth line is Bunting on the wing, Glass at center, and Puustinen on the right. So, I don't know. Make what you will of that. Maybe there's a couple fillers in here for maybe Rust is taken to maintenance day. Maybe he's out long term. I haven't heard anything on that front, but The first line shakeup is shocking. That's something you see late in a game down by 1 and they need a goal. But you're looking at a first line of Crosby, Malkin, Raquel. What do you think of that, Robbie? Desperate?
Oh, it's desperate. It's definitely desperate. I'm not, every once in a while, I'm not a huge fan of doubling up those guys because you like to spread that out throughout the lineup.
For sure.
They used to do it at like the end of periods, stuff like that. That was fine. Like, yeah, that's the perfect time to use it.
Or like Malkin's rookie year.
Yeah, but running it out just to run it out, man, you're basically making yourself a one-line team. At least a one-line scoring team.
A one-line scoring team. What does it say to the opposition? They're like, oh my God, Malkin and Crosby are out to take the first. The Penguins haven't been having a hard time scoring goals either, though.
They scored 9 goals in the 3. They were shut out against Edmonton, but they were never really in that game to begin with. They scored 3 goals in the other 3 games. Like, that should be enough to get you at least a win.
It should. No, it absolutely should. The game against Edmonton, I mean, take that one out of it, and no one can beat Winnipeg right now. But Calgary and Vancouver, there were points on the table available there. There was an opportunity to, when they were up 2-0, they should have shut that. They should have a plan in their back pocket to shut that down. But anyways, they're not having a hard time scoring goals right now. That's why it's a little bit of a head scratcher to me. The defense, it's Letang and Pedersen, Carlson, Grzelcyk, St. Ivany, and Graves, with Shea and Nieto practicing as a fourth. So Nieto, I don't know.
Oh, that's right. He's still on the Penguins.
Yeah, he's still on the Penguins. He's a fourth line forward, though. So.
Oh yeah, he's not. Yeah, I mean Matt Nieto.
It's just line rushes or whatever. I don't know. Ryan Shea. I like that bottom pairing, but they can't do anything with Graves because of the contract. They have made no changes to the defense, so I don't know. I don't think putting Malkin up on Sid's line really moves the needle at this point.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't move the needle at all. It's just desperation. You do have an opportunity this week. I will say that, not to get anybody's hopes up. I mean, you have Minnesota, Anaheim, and Montreal. You have to win 2 of those games. I mean,
straight up, they need to get points in all 3.
I'd go as far as to say that. Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's not exactly tearing it up. Anaheim and Montreal are what they are. You already beat Montreal once this year pretty handily. But if you want to make any noise, these are games you have to win. Getting blown out by Edmonton, okay. I mean, Edmonton's better than you, straight up. They are.
They are. They were in the Stanley Cup final last year, Game 7.
I know Calgary's hot right now, but on paper, they're a team that you probably should at least compete with. And the Penguins did compete with them in that game. They should have won that game. But Minnesota, Anaheim, and Montreal, you got to win these. You got to win these hockey games, especially when the next week is the Islanders, the Hurricanes, and the Capitals.
Oh God!
Yeah,
they need to get something fixed before we play the Metro teams, dude. They need to figure something out.
Yeah,
they need to.
Yeah, I mean, the Metro games definitely carry a little bit more weight. They've lost 2 games to the Metro this year. They've only played 2 games against the Metro this year.
Wonderful.
So yeah, you got to win. You got to win these hockey games. That's as much there is to it.
Oh boy, dude! I watched the full post game like Sportsnet breakdown with Jay Caulfield, and one was with Tyler Kennedy, and one was with God, what's his name? That defenseman. He never played for the Penguins, but he played for like the Rangers and Bartkowski.
Yeah.
And dude, Jay Caulfield had an absolute puzzling look to his face. He said something outright. He was just like, I don't know what to say about that game. I think that the way that Sullivan is coaching this team defensively, he's not the guy. He's not the guy for this group of players. I thought that was an indicting statement. I just wanted to touch on that quickly because I feel like at times as a fan, I've jumped and been like, Sully, you had worse defensemen when you won 2 cups back to back, and it's a fire drill out there. You've got better defensemen than you did then, and you are like, this is going to be a historically bad defensive team this year if things don't get fixed. Either Sully is still living in 2016, and the game has changed since then, and he doesn't know how to get through to his players to play differently. He's gone mad. He's gone mad with offense. Everything is faster, more pinching down, more. Or these players, he's lost the voice, so to say, in the room. What I'm so puzzled. And listening to Jay Caulfield and Matt Bartkowski and Tyler Kennedy kind of try to break this down, it was a little bit like therapeutic as a fan to hear them kind of on the same side and be like, there's so much going wrong here, and like some of it is being pointed at Sullivan. What do you think it is? Do you think Sullivan has lost the voice in the room, so to say? Or like, do you think that like the Penguins have tuned him out? Do you think that he doesn't have the personnel to coach? Does he not have the personnel to play the style that he's trying to coach?
NHL coaches all have shelf lives. Any coach in any professional sports has a shelf life. Mike Sullivan has lasted
like double,
as far as long outlasted the average lifespan of an NHL coach. He's been here for it'll be 9 years in December. This is his part of his 10th season with the Penguins. At some point, I mean, it's over. I mean, I don't see. Again, I think he can still be a successful coach in the NHL.
Oh, for
absolutely.
Sure.
Like if the Penguins let him go, he's going to get scooped up within a week. Somebody will fire their head coach to make to hire him. There's no doubt about that. I just think he needs speed. I really do. I just think he needs speed in his lineup to be able to do what he wants to do. And you saw it successful when they won the Cups, but it hasn't been successful since then because they've gotten older. The Penguins are no longer that team anymore, and I don't know if he's the right guy to carry them through a rebuild. Just because.
No. Why would you waste his time?
Yeah. Unless his contract is so good in Pittsburgh that he doesn't think he could get that deal anywhere else.
Oh, boy.
That's about the only thing. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see, assuming he's still with the board, even if he's not, how his system translates to the international game when he can pick and choose the players he wants.
Yeah, he'll probably find great success there because he's going to have an all-star team.
I mean, he's going to have both Kachucks, probably Jake Gensel. He's going to have the guys that he wants. And,
oh, yeah. He's going to have Austin Matthews.
Yeah, Austin Matthews. Going to have the goalies he wants, the consistent goaltending he wants.
Oh, my God. He's going to have Connor Hellebuck back there. He can pinch D all he wants because he's got a brick wall. He's got that guy, and then he's also got, well, Demko's hurt. I don't know. He's got plenty of goaltending. Ottinger. Boy. Yeah. Dude, is there a world where he gets fired and he still is the coach of the U.S. team?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else out there that can really, at least American coach-wise, that really has the pedigree that he does. Because I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I think it's just the system in Pittsburgh doesn't work anymore. He needs the speed. He'll get the speed with Team USA. I mean, he's going to have tools at his disposal that usually only like Mike Babcock used to have when he coached Team Canada.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have just an unbelievable amount of talent. He can do what he wants. He can pick and choose the players he wants. And I think that is going to benefit him more. And I think if he's still the coach of the Penguins, or even if he's not, we're really going to see him shine in the Four Nations in the Olympics then.
Robbie, I have two options for you in my hands, okay? Yeah. In the left hand, I have Dubas punting on this season as early as Thanksgiving, where Sullivan stays, Quinn stays, every player stays, and they sell off assets at the trade deadline, and they are a lottery team. Top 10 pick lottery team. In my other hand, I have an option for you. Dubas fires Sullivan and his coaching staff, brings in one of Todd McClellan, Bruce Boudreau, or Joel Quenneville, and they go all in to try to make the playoffs this year.
No,
Which
do not do that.
which one are you going for?
The former. I don't.
Really?
I just don't see them going all. I don't think. What's all in? I mean,
Okay, so all in. I'm not saying all in. They try to salvage the season, but they're not. They're not trading young
okay.
players. They're not giving up picks or anything like that. But they do make. They tinker with the coaching staff because that's kind of all they can do with the contracts. A lot of them you can't move. By going all in, I say. Let me rephrase that. Dubas fires Sullivan and his coaching staff and hires one of Bruce Boudreau, Todd McClellan, or Joel Quenneville, and that is their last-ditch effort to save the season. Do you do that, or do you waste Sully and everyone else's time and you just hope that you get a top 5 pick?
Well, I think they are still serious about competing. So if they are serious,
this will
about
test
competing,
that though. This will test that. The serious about competing thing. This bump in the road they're going through will test where they're at with that.
I think that if they are serious about competing, they have to make a coaching change. I just think they need a new voice in the room.
I agree. I think
whether or not, again, Sullivan can have great success. Sullivan may very well win another Stanley Cup if he goes somewhere else. But I just think the team now.
I would put money on that. I would put money that Sullivan, if the second he leaves the Penguins, he's gonna get another team to the Stanley Cup final, if not win one.
Yeah, I think he's going to absolutely be in position to do that, and I think that. But I think right now they need a new voice in the room, and they need to make a change if they're serious. If they are serious about salvaging this season.
I agree. And I think that a lot of people, I've been looking through Reddit, I've been looking through Twitter. I think a lot of people are kind of in the same boat. It's like, dude, you can't, like, they're stuck, man. You can't even probably get rid of Erik Karlsson right now not that they should. I like having Erik Karlsson on the team. They can't get rid of Graves. They can't get rid of Jari. They can't get rid of, God, is there any other albatross contracts that they've got?
Ryan Graves.
Yeah, right. So Ryan Graves.
Ryan Graves.
I don't know. It's like they've committed
Rust,
to the core.
I mean, Rust, I guess, as much as it pains me to say that, Rust, it's not an albatross contract, but it's a movable contract, and you could definitely get some.
You could get something for Rust.
Yeah. But all right, we had 2 questions from Andreas, but we kind of answered the one about the defense being completely putrid. Andreas, it's the worst that I can remember going back. Again, with this much talent, it's by far the worst I can remember. There was some bad defensive in the dark years, which guys were just basically being plugged in and stuff like that. But Andreas' other question is, Tuesday night is all likelihood Marc-Andre Fleury's last game in Pittsburgh. It will be an emotional affair. He wants us to share our favorite Fleury moments. And Andreas says he'll always remember the breakaway save on Ovechkin in 2009 in Game 7.
It's a good one. It has to be in 2009 when they are back against the Detroit Red Wings in the Stanley Cup final, and he kind of 2-pad stacks to keep that one out of the net. I forget who even was it Zetterberg or was it Abdelkader or something?
Lidstrom.
Oh, it was Lidstrom.
Wait, just to win?
To win.
Yeah, it was the diving save against Lidstrom, yeah.
Against Lidstrom, so
yeah.
That's got to be it, dude. Though I look back on those years so fondly. Those were as Penguin, dude. Those were just like great times. And thinking about Fleury, the jersey colors back then, just like the temperature of the league back then, with Detroit being just this. They were the Tampa Bay Lightning back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were. Those were good hockey teams. There's no doubt about that. For me, it is his performance in Game 7 in 2017 against the Capitals. Again, they had blown a 3-1 lead, and everything was going the Capitals' way. And then the Penguins just come in to that game, and Hornquist and Rust score, and Fleury just pitches a shutout. And that was really his last moment as a Penguin. He did win a game in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 games actually. No, 1 game in the Eastern Conference Finals. But that was his, like, if that was the final moment, that's the fitting way to go out.
True.
Pitching a shutout, that save with his knob of his stick on Ovechkin, that pretty much, looking back on it, that was probably the game right there. But yeah, there's so many great ones. The yellow pads are always stick out to me.
Yeah.
There's just so it's really hard to boil it down, and there's always the what if he was just an average goaltender in some of those playoff runs, they have another cup. You like to think so, but he's the first member of this era. He was the first one drafted. He was the first debut, and you kind of just saw it all there. And I'm glad that he left and had success. Never won another cup, but he got his Vezina. He got the second all-time in wins. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I really hope that this summer, if he would want to do it, they could get him on one of those one-day contracts
For sure.
To retire as a Penguin. But great memories of Marc-Andre Fleury in Pittsburgh. Tomorrow night, it felt like it last year, but he kind of pretty much said this year, aside from him being traded at some point and maybe getting one more game later in the season in Pittsburgh, which is unlikely, this is the end for Marc-Andre Fleury. So, congrats to MAF. Great memories, always will be. But one thing I want to NHL thing, I don't know if you saw it from this weekend. Did you see the goal that Matthew Tkachuk scored against the Islanders?
Yeah.
The most insane, I don't know how this goal counted moment maybe ever. He literally beat the hell out of Semyon Varlamov.
He did.
And then the Islanders players just like looked around. He stole his stick. He punched him in the head. He cross-checked him in the head. And then he celebrated on top of him.
It's like me playing mini sticks against my little cousin.
Yeah, it was. I saw it on. It popped up on Reddit, the overhead angle. So I had to find the actual highlight, and it's just Varlamov just standing there like, what am I supposed to do? He's just beating the hell out of me in the crease, and I was just like, oh man, what a insane player.
What would Patrick Waugh, the coach behind the bench, have done if that was happening to him back in the day?
I can't believe he didn't just completely blow the gasket. Like Waugh, Brodeur, Hextall, any of those dudes would have completely, at the very least, a blocker to the back of the head or something like that. Like
Waugh would have tried to take his head off with his stick.
Yeah, it would have been a very ugly scene. But
I love that goal though. I love Matthew Tkachuk. Like that guy. Yeah. If do you think? Oh man, there was a time I thought when there was rumors of him getting traded, there was parts of me that was like Gensel for Tkachuk, 1-for-1. Just do it.
I'm very glad that he never ended up in like Philadelphia or Boston. Or
if he was in Philly, that would imagine him and Giroux on a line like during like kind of the twilight of Giroux's career. I think he's
it would have been.
But
it would have been a very annoying.
Tkachuk, Hartnell, Giroux, Simmons. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I mean, he was. Those guys were all. He was really coming up through, but Tkachuk, I'm glad
if he was a Capital. If he played with Tom Wilson and Ovi,
I'm definitely glad that he is not on a rival team, because he would definitely, like, Tampa Bay fans have to absolutely loathe him in the worst possible way.
Think about how Edmonton still has scars.
Edmonton, Boston probably hates him. Anybody that has to play him as our division rival has to be absolutely miserable. But that's really all I got. Penguins suck, man.
Well, there is a bright spot. Tristan Jarry gets a win down in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
The Penguins, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, they score 3 second period goals, and Tristan Jarry holds off Syracuse Crunch for a comeback bid. 32 saves for a 3-2 win on Saturday night.
Yeah. Very, very good first step in his conditioning, I guess we'll call it. I believe Kyle Dubas said he will be there for the full 2 weeks. So he's going to
shit, really? He's going to spend...
I think he said 14. I'm pretty sure he said 14 days. So, yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. But I definitely think it's a good first step. But he needs more than one good showing. He needs quite a few.
The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins are 3rd in their division right now.
Yeah, they lost yet?
Yeah, they've lost. They've lost 2. They're 4-2.
Oh, okay. They did. They were like 3-0 at one point. That's why I was wondering. So they did finally lose a game. But yeah, good stuff from Jari. Hopefully, maybe it's all just a ramping up the trade value.
Ramping up the trade value, or maybe this is maybe he's got a little black book on Sullivan, and he's like, "Do you see how much better I play with anybody other than him coaching?"
Yeah, fair.
Rucker McGroarty also not doing much in the AHL.
It says 4. I think you sent the screen cap. There's 4 games, no points,
-2.
So yeah, another development to watch down there as well. Obviously,
my man Boris Kachuk has 4 goals though.
He and Boris. I don't know if he has any NHL deal with the Penguins or if it's just an AHL deal.
I think it's just AHL.
But I mean, the Penguins at some point might need to get him on an NHL deal, a 2-way contract, and get Boris scoring some goals up with the big club because yeah, I mean, we might end up seeing Owen Pickering before long on defense.
Dude, we got Emil Benstrom with 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points, and then we have Sam Poulin with 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points.
My worst fear is those are, I'll call them quad A guys. That's what I call baseball players that are like too good for AAA, but not good enough for the majors. They're kind of like quad A guys.
Yeah.
My fear is like these guys are good enough, or probably too good for the NH or AHL, but not good enough to be regulars in the NHL or at least productive in the NHL. Where's Jansen Harkins?
Jansen Harkins. Oh my God. Wasn't he? Jansen Harkins is currently.
Did he sign anywhere?
Yeah, he plays for the San Diego Gulls of the American Hockey League.
Oh, okay. So he's getting his cardio in down there. All right.
Yeah, he's on a two-way 2-year contract with the Ducks. So Jansen Harkins, still playing. God, he was an interesting guy last year, huh?
Yeah, he was not good. I thought he was going to be good, and then he was not good.
Philip Larson, 3. I think Philip Larson is 3-0 in his starts, and he's got an assist, so he has 1 point.
He needs to score a goal.
There's a player also for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins named Scooter Bricky. Awesome name.
Sounds like a guy we need up here at some point too, just for the name.
Yeah, Sergei Murashov reassigned to the Wheeling Nailers.
Not surprising with Jari there. They're going to try to get him as much game action as possible. So I'm assuming whenever they do with Jari, Murashov will be back with the baby Pens after that.
I'm on the train. Get Boko Imama, the enforcer, up for a couple of games with the Penguins and sign Boris Kachuk to a 2-way contract. Get him a look because right now he has no assists, but he has 4 goals in the AHL. So get him on PP1.
We're definitely going to see Boko Imam at some point. It's probably going to be after a game, or it's going to be for a Flyers game or a Rangers game or something. Like a Capitals game, some game where it has a chance to go off the rails if things get bad. That would be fun. He got called up today. I don't know how much he's going to play, but it's just very funny that now everybody's like, okay, he's actually not good at all.
Yeah, he's actually not. He's not that good.
He's really not. He can't skate. I think it was the playoffs last year. He tried to hit someone and he bounced off him like a pinball and went flying himself, and the other guy just took the puck and kept skating.
Dude, this year in the Rangers, I think it was in the Rangers, it wasn't against the Penguins. It must have been in their second or third game. He lined up a dude and tried to hit him. He completely missed and knocked himself down. And then, the guy, it was the same situation. A guy went the other way and got a scoring opportunity. Yeah. So
he basically makes it like a 15-second power play. Because you completely take yourself out of the play and you're down a man until you get up, and he doesn't skate fast. So,
did you see that he was training with George Laraque over the summer?
I mean, yeah, Larocque's a trainer now. I don't know if he trained fighting wise, because he was obviously a fine fighter. But you can't fight every night. Your body will never keep up with that. But
I was just laughing because it's like he trained with Georges Laraque in Alberta for a little while on just fighting on the ice, but Georges Laraque's had no hands for the game of hockey whatsoever. He was not good at hockey. So it's like he
Yeah.
probably got better at fighting, but he only needs to do that every once in a while. And clearly he hasn't improved very much on his actual hockey skills. I shouldn't be talking. He's playing in the NHL and
Yeah, that's
he
fair.
plays
I
for the
mean,
Rangers. But,
yeah.
Also, if Rempe came to the Penguins, I'd be super hyped. I'd welcome that contract.
I mean,
I'd
if the
overpay.
Rangers want to keep putting him out there and he keeps hurting, then that's fine. I'm not mad about that. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be a lineup regular. I think at some point this year, Rempe madness will fully fizzle out, especially if he does something that completely like hurts them in a big game or something like that.
Oh, I think if he loses a fight and they lose steam because he gets beat up, I think at some point they have to be like, okay, this sideshow is kind of over.
Yeah. If he gets like handed to him and like momentum completely flips or something like that, then yeah, I could see that. But
Robbie, was that it for questions we got?
Yeah, we might have more. I put it out a little late today, so maybe after the recap for tomorrow night's game, there might be more. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's it for today.
Well, this week going forward, the Penguins have 3 games this week.
3 games, all at home.
3 home games. This is going to be, God, we're going to be saying this all year. This is it for them. This is make or break for these guys. They play
and
Minnesota.
They're going to win like 3-0. Yeah.
They play Minnesota, and then they play on Thursday the Anaheim Ducks. And then on Saturday they play the Canadiens. You know what? I'm going to throw a prediction out there. I think there's going to be a trade. There's going to be a trade this week with the Penguins and the Ducks.
Okay.
And that trade is going to be for... God, I'm blanking on his name right now. Who's that veteran that the Ducks have? Defenseman? Fowler.
Oh, Cam Fowler. Yeah.
I think there's going to be a trade for Cam Fowler.
Okay.
I'm not saying who will be on the Penguin side because I actually have no idea how they'd make that work. But they're looking for a change of scenery for Cam Fowler. I think that they're going to come in and Dubas is going to say, Cam, why don't you just stick around a while because I think we're working something out for you.
Yeah, could be. That would be interesting to see.
I don't know if that happens. I'll actually be kind of shocked. But I wondered about that. They're trying to find a home for Cam Fowler. So would you take Cam?
Yeah, I think I can't. Right now, the defense can't get any worse, can it? I mean,
what if they found a way to get rid of Graves and not have to cough up too much of an asset for Fowler?
That'd be great.
Maybe pick up Zegras while you're at it.
Yeah, why not? Just throw him in there, guys.
That's all I got, Robbie.
All right. So for Snail, I'm Robbie signing off for this episode, but we will be back with some recaps this week. If you're listening and want to ask some questions, hop over to Twitter and put them in the mailbag tweet, and we'll get to them as well. So have a good night, everyone. We will talk to you very soon.